It was a treat to get to talk to people who have such deep expertise, the people whose books are on your bookshelf. As a coach, it's really an honor to get to be with such awesome people. I want to share some of this with you. There's a link at the end to the whole show, but check out this little piece. So I want to take advantage of you all being here and get a little free coaching. So I'm a CEO of an organization. Like many organizations are, I mean, we've lost 2/3 of our revenue in April. So the water feels very deep. It feels very uncertain. And I'm trying a lot of things like this, but sometimes I'm laying awake at 3 a.m. saying, is this what I should be focusing on? Am I putting my energy in the right place? What would you ask me? Marilynn, let's start with you.
I have sort of an inside peek at your life, Josh, so you've been brave in throwing this question at me. I know how dedicated and how hard you work, and I know how creative and visionary you are around what to do during this time. And I just would ask you, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to create. There's a lot to accomplish. But I would ask you, what is it that you want to be right now? When you sink into that place of not all the things to do in order to swim to the top of this deep pond, what is it that how do you want to be in this? What do you want to learn from this? And have that moment of stillness where you might take some of that time. So that's a long question, but it is a statement also about what is it, Josh, that you are hoping to be through this challenging time?
Yeah, that turns out to be an incredibly powerful question for me, and I think for many, because sometimes we can't do the things that we normally do. We can't do what we expect. We're literally stuck at home, right? Mm-hmm. So I think for me, I've been thinking a lot about how do I want to look back on this and look back on myself in this. And I think who I want to be is someone who's connecting. Mm-hmm. Anyone else have an offer for my free coaching session before we move on to the next question?
I have.
Go, Jenny.
Yeah. So, Josh, there you are in the middle of the night. You're tossing and turning, and you're thinking of all the awful things that could happen, which is probably how you might wake up at those times. I think I would ask you what's within your control and what isn't. But I think you could ask yourself, what can I control and what can't I? And I would follow up with, what can I control in the short term and the medium term and the longer term, which would just be speculation, basically. Mm-hmm. But I think that would help. Stop worrying about the things you can't control. Do worry about the things you can.
Yeah, that's very practical. Thank you, Jenny. And Magdalena, one more.
Yeah, CEO to CEO, I completely understand where you're living right now. And my question is not very different, I think, from Jenny's, but it's like, what would make you sleep at night? Let's identify that's one thing, and then we can figure out how to get there.
One small step, Brett?
Yeah, I was going to say that, we talked about earlier finding that big question. And that's one of the big questions in this situation is what can you control? And then use your values as a guidepost. Make sure you've established your values. And when you ask yourself that question, what can you control? And then how does that align with my values? And that's going to lead you to the right path every time.
Yeah, I think Marilynn brought that up earlier, the power of purpose. And for me, that question of who I want to be and what is my purpose are deeply linked. And if I'm not putting my energy into a place where it feels really connected with my purpose, in this time, this chaotic time, I just feel so lost. So I think it's made me kind of double down on on being purposeful.